By now, you have completed the ImpX process with your client. You have come up with 2 or 3 strategic initiatives for their next performance period, or say fiscal or calendar year. You know, Thomas Edison once said, vision without execution is just hallucination. What you've got is a very clear vision of not only the next year, what's going to be done, but all those other things that maybe didn't quite make the cut that are going to follow in the years to come, which will allow you to create that real clear vision, long-term vision for your client. But if we don't execute it, it's meaningless. When you have worked with us with the ImpX tool, we actually are also giving you a complementary tool called a Fishbone diagram. This is an extremely simple but very effective tool to beginning the process to driving execution of those 3 initiatives of their strategic plan. So what I'm going to do in this brief next few minutes is I'm going to show you how to utilize the Fishbone diagram. So I'm going to share screen with you right now of a blank Fishbone diagram. This is what it looks like. Very simply, we put the initiative, one of the 2 or 3 that you developed with your client, in the head of the fish, and it has all of these blanks on it. And those blanks represent the strategies that the leadership team of the organization you're working with is telling you that are needed to happen to get that initiative across the finish line. So let me just give you an example. This is a random example. Let's just say an organization said they wanted to grow e-commerce sales to, let's say, 2 times previous year's e-commerce revenue. Grow e-commerce sales to 2 times previous year's e-commerce revenue. And of course, this is by whatever period of time, 2021, whatever period of time the end of their period is, or fiscal or calendar period is. So they're going to do that. They have a full year to do that. So that's the initiative that came off of the SWOT impact analysis. Okay, then you would simply lead a discussion with the leadership team of what are the strategies that they might want to deploy to accomplish this that would need to happen. So random thoughts start flying across the room from the team. And let's just think of it randomly. Let's say somebody says, well, we need to add line extensions to our product offering. In other words, expand our offering across, or expand our product offering across the board. Let's see, expand product offering across all verticals. Let's just say something like that. And someone else may say, we need to create a marketing campaign. Maybe through Amazon, I don't know, Facebook, Google, etc. Whatever that might look like. And someone else may throw out, we need to photo shoot our products, new products, maybe create some lifestyle images. And that may lead to somebody just saying, you know, we need to refresh our website. Which is just, you know, your branding. And then maybe somebody else says, okay, website. Maybe we need to add a chat feature to website for customer support. Then someone may say, Well, we've got to finalize and complete a budget for this initiative. Spell that. So that's just an example of some of the stuff that they may throw up in terms of growing e-commerce sales to 2x. And there may be more. Many of these bones in the fish might be populated as well. This is just some random stuff. So as the facilitator of this discussion, you would then say to the team, once they've pretty much exhausted all the strategies, say, okay, which one of these moves the needle the most to getting a 2x result on our e-commerce sales? Which is the most important? Now, we like leadership teams of roughly 6 to 8 people in a room. An odd number is always good because it becomes a democratic vote at that point. But someone will make a recommendation that maybe the number one thing might be to, well, let's just take this one. Say that was add line extensions. Obviously, increase our product offerings. Which, if you're a distributor, it means bring in more line extensions. If you're a manufacturer, maybe developing some new products, so it has a whole other element to it. If that is the one that the majority of the people believe that is number one, then it becomes number one. Up until that point, it's just a volley from the floor for a vote. There might be 2 or 3 other volleys from the floor from which you would just lead a vote. How many say it's this one? How many say it's this one? How many say it's this one? Wherever you get the majority is what becomes number one. This is just to help prioritize the strategies required to accomplish this initiative. And when we talk about line extensions, it pretty much stands to reason that we would have to photo shoot those new products. So we might say that that's 1A just automatically, or we'd suggest to the team, maybe this 1A, if you're going to do this, then maybe that's a subset of that. Of number one is to photo shoot their new products and lifestyle images or whatever that might look like. And then say, well, what's next? And maybe somebody says, well, this is number 2, that we need to create a marketing campaign. And maybe there's consensus agreement across the board on that. Maybe they'd say number 3 is refreshing the website, from which adding the chat feature would clearly be number 3A, for example, just kind of an FYI. And then once all that is kind of done, well, actually, maybe this is the number one thing that should be done. And maybe they've said that now that I read it. So maybe all of these should be, that should be 2. Maybe this should be 3. Whoops, what happened here? 3. And maybe this is 2A. And maybe this is 4. You can see we're doing this real time. Whoops. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2A, 3, 4, 4A, something like that. But once again, you're asking the team demographically what priority order should we accomplish these strategies. Now, if there's a whole bunch more down here, there might be many at some point in time that just don't make sense to continue to prioritize because they're so far downstream. Plus, we know that if we can get 80% of these done, we're probably going to get a tremendous movement towards accomplishing this initiative. So I've never felt compelled that we have to prioritize all the different strategies, but they're all listed here for future reference. And so the last thing that we do prior to moving on is that we basically say, okay, let's come back to these that we talked about and ask the question, who in the room would be, let's start with the budgeting, number 1 down here. Who would be responsible for championing the redo of the budget, and likely the CFO or the accounting manager, whoever's in the room, would say, well, that would be me to lead the way. And then we ask, who is the support? C stands for champion, SU stands for support. And this would likely be all the leadership team members, because they're going to be taking on different roles and responsibility. And they're going to have to come up with the costs associated with that budget. And then we'd go to number 2, and we would say, who's the champion of this? And adding the line extensions might be, I don't know, might be the purchasing manager, whoever that person's name is. And, the support might be the sales manager, because they're out there in the industry and know what the industry might be looking for, and so on and so forth. So what we do on creating the marketing campaign, the champion would probably likely be the sales and marketing, if they had a marketing manager, and maybe the support is the CEO. Photo shoot, et cetera, et cetera. So you get the gist that what you're doing is you're putting the champion and the support people behind every strategy. Now you not only have identified the initiatives through the ImpX process, but you've taken each initiative and you've thoroughly analyzed all the strategies required. You have prioritized them, and then you've also put names. I know I have positions here, but there's names behind those positions, to who it agrees that they're the champion of getting that strategy done. Now, what's important about that is not only at the end of this process do you have now a full strategic plan that now goes down to this depth of detail, but you now have the foundation from which you can circle back and use these strategies and talk to the sales and marketing manager or the purchasing manager or the CFO, remind them that they raised their hand and said they were the champion of those particular strategies, and then help them shape a measurable goal for them individually of what it looks like to complete this strategy by a certain time frame, to a certain level of completion, to the accomplishment of a certain amount of dollars, however they choose to measure it. But it becomes a measurable goal that it becomes part of their review process on a perpetual basis to help drive the execution of not only their goal, but obviously the strategy required to accomplish this initiative, which is all part of driving the success and the execution of the strategic plan. That's how simple this is. This fishbone diagram is provided to you complimentary, and this is our suggested way to take this whole entire process to the next step. I'll stop sharing. Thank you very much. I hope it's clear. Obviously, let us know if you have any questions. And good luck to you. It's a powerful process that has been proven over and over and over again to drive amazing results in execution. Take care.